watching Barnstable this morning. It's our business Barnstable segment. Oh, Sarah Beal, sorry. You got David's name spelled wrong.
Oh, just an extra S.
Yep.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Good morning, everyone. You're watching Barnstable this morning. It's our business Barnstable segment. Oh, Sarah Beal, sorry. You got David's name spelled wrong.
Oh, just an extra S.
Good morning, everyone. You're watching Barnstable this morning. I'm Sarah Colvin. It's time for Business Barnstable, and joining me live in studio instead of on the phone, David Augustinho of the Cape and Islands Workforce Investment Board. David, I'm glad we've finally been able to lure you into our dungeon.
I'm delighted to be here. I'm a little concerned for your viewers, though. They won't have the nice photoshopped version of me. They have to deal with reality today. So.
Well, reality is good, right? And we're glad to have you in person. I always like to be able to interact with guests instead of the, talk to the picture on the phone. It's a good thing. So, want to talk. We have so many things to talk about. The first thing is Leadership Day, and that was held recently at Heritage Museums and Gardens. 6th through 8th graders, really from all across the Cape, got together for this event.
Right. Actually, it was a little older than that. It was 8th through 10th graders.
8th through 10th graders.
And yeah, we had spoken about it previously, and it's a great event. This is our first year that we've done it. So what we did was we have a series of events, leadership development, team building events for these young people. And the purpose of working with the younger demographic is that now they can go back and they can begin to apply these things in their school experience and in their communities also. So I think it's a great way for us to be working with young people as early as possible to instill in them some desire to develop themselves and to work on behalf of their communities, whether it's their school community or their other community. We had two featured speakers, very dynamic speakers. We had Siobhan Magnus,
oh, wonderful.
Who spoke about her. It was very touching. She talked about how hard it is to follow your own voice, how there are so many people telling you what you should be doing, and how and so she spoke about that. And Sam Tarplin, who did the documentary on drug use here on the Cape, he actually spoke a little bit about his own journey and how he came to make the movie and stuff, and some of it was because of some of his personal experiences. So it was a great day. Of course, most people know that now at Heritage Museums and Gardens, they have the Adventure Park. So that was part of the activities, but that was not the feature. The feature was to provide the leadership development activities for the young people.
And I think great to have an opportunity not only to tour that really cool new adventure park, but I think when you think about the trust that goes into strapping yourself into a harness, and it might be a little scary to go across that zip line or climb up on the tree. I mean, I remember the ropes courses I did when I was a teenager. That builds a lot of confidence and courage, and it's kind of something that, yes, it can be looked at as a fun activity, but you're really learning a lot of life skills when you put yourself in the trust of the people who are organizing that, and then just listening to yourself and saying, I can do this.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think when we first developed the event, of course it's the Youth Council for the Workforce Investment Board, I was kind of surprised. I thought we would be working with like juniors and seniors in high school. And another thing I get so wrong, but it turns out, what do I know? Because it turned out that working with this younger demographic is perfect, because they'll have plenty of time to be able to really add to their school experience as well as to be involved in the community. So we're just delighted we could do that. Our hope going forward is that we can build a little richer experience and maybe do some after-school activities or even weekend activities leading up to the one day. So as a first year, we were able to populate, our goal was 50 young people. I think we wound up with 47 or 48 who participated. We were delighted at the turnout. So I think that going forward, we'll be able to, as I say, make it a little richer curriculum.
Absolutely, but great to have the speakers too that the kids can really connect with. mature enough that they've gone through some things in their lives. Siobhan, of course, with her music career and all the struggles and the American Idol, and then of course Sam, who dealt with addiction. But to hear from someone who still, I think, can be seen as a peer is important to those kids.
Yeah, especially Siobhan. She connected so directly with the kids and stuff. And you know, I was thinking going in, you know, how quick the world is, especially the media world. You would know better than anybody, Sarah. But you know, these kids, she's probably old news to these kids. You know, they might not even
right.
be listening to her. But she definitely, they related to her quickly, and her message, I think, was a very powerful one for them.
Great. Well, I appreciate the efforts getting the young kids engaged. You know, teaching them those leadership skills, especially at that young age, is, I think, very important to our community going forward. Let's talk a little bit about numbers. Looks like we're seeing some improvement in job numbers here on the Cape.
Right. It looks like we're gearing up for our busiest season. The most recent numbers I have are April right now. The May numbers will be out soon, but they continue to show that trend where we're doing better than we were in the previous year. So in April, the unemployment rate was 5.5%, which is down from 7.3% in April of 2014. As a matter of fact, that was down from 8% in March. So where actually, as far as dropping our rate, we did better than the state. The state rate is 4.1%, which when I was growing up in the 60s, I mean, they would talk about that as full employment. So I know our employers. I think there's a front page article in the Cape Cod Times today, especially in Provincetown. Our more seasonal areas are having trouble attracting enough employees. And it's not just more seasonal areas, there's some geographic issues also, you know. And we have the same kind of issues that most resort areas have. Mm-hmm. You have kind of a high-priced infrastructure and hospitality and retail wages that don't necessarily match up with that. But a lot of other places, geographically, they can draw from other areas where the living expenses may not be so expensive.
Right.
But here, especially you're talking Provincetown, Wellfleet, East Ham, everything from Orleans down Cape, it's very difficult to bring in someone to fill those jobs.
Right, and little spit of land, you know, there's only so much space, so interesting to see that. You know, in talking, kind of going back to the pace that the Leadership Day is setting for students, there's something that's taking place in October, Construction Day, and what is this all about?
Well, we're working with the Home Builders and Remodelers Association of Cape and the Islands, and we have participated in a statewide event for a number of years, ever since I've been, 15 years I've been here, where we take a select group of high school seniors, usually juniors and seniors, and send them to a day-long series of activities, usually in the central part of the state, so somewhere up in the Worcester area. And by the time our kids get on a bus, get up there, and have the time they have to leave, they really don't get a full experience. So Chris Duran and her executive committee came to us and asked if we would like to partner with them on a construction career day here. And we jumped at the opportunity. We think it's a great opportunity, and we'll be able to involve a lot more students, because we actually were getting fewer and fewer students who could go to this statewide event. We were down to like 35 or 40 students that could go. So we think we'll be able to run several hundred students through this construction career day, where they'll have some hands-on kind of learning, as well as it'll be set up, it's kind of like a trade show that most people are familiar with, but they'll have an opportunity to explore careers, and actually there'll even be, if someone were a senior looking to graduate soon, there may be some hiring opportunities.
Great, and you know, there really is, I think, a good opportunity for kids who want to get into the trades. There's a big construction industry here on the Cape, and I think it's one of those jobs, if you're dedicated, you can start maybe hammering nails and be a project manager, you know, in 10 years. So interesting to see how that could develop for someone.
And when you look at the structure of employment here, construction careers are paid pretty well for even in starting wages and stuff. And you know, and there is a sizable group of young people who, for whatever reason, don't want to go on to a four-year college off Cape. Some of them may be starting at the community college, but the profile for a lot of them is they need to be earning some money, and so construction is a great way for them to, great careers in construction for them. And this is a very good time too. There's that 5.5% unemployment rate that we talked about. I think a lot of that is fueled because the construction industries are coming back very strong now.
Great. So if folks want to learn about that construction date, if they want to sign up for it, what's the best way for them to do so?
If they went to our website, ciwib.org, that would be one way for them to get information about it. Kara Galvin in our office, and her email address is kara@ciwib.org. She'd be able to help anyone who's interested in participating.
Great. Well, David, thank you so much for stopping by. Great to see you live and in person, and we hope to have you back in the studio again sometime soon.
I think I'm liking this.
We like it too. Thank you. David Augustinho, of course, is the Executive Director of the Cape and Islands Workforce Investment Board. For Barnstable This Morning, I'm Sarah Colvin.